Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Loan vibes, loan laughs, and loan entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome, the shell boss, I'm gonna make you bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tune. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Anytime, anywhere. NCDA, just what we care. 1-888-639-5433. Call the line. Come talk to me.
The temperature, brought to you by the National Council on Drug Abuse, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News, at this hour, the 12 pounds of cocaine found in a police inspector's car has an estimated street value of up to $100 million.
New start date for Tesha Miller gang trial expected on Monday.
Judge rules Noel Maitland must answer to the charge of murdering his girlfriend Donnelly Donaldson.
SSP Wayne Cameron wins the right to seek judicial review of his ouster as chair of the Police Officers Association.
Former Education Minister Ronald Thwaites wants more done to close the gap between best and worst performing schools.
If you want to be inclusive, you have to make sure that the proper resources are available for them. It is for the government to equalize that situation.
In news from the rest of the world, U.S. seizes fifth oil tanker in Caribbean waters linked to Venezuela.
Iran's supreme leader signals upcoming crackdown on protesters.
In sports, cricket, West Indies to review current selection policy after T20 World Cup later this year.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, opposition spokesman on national security Fitz Jackson says despite the reduction in murders, safety concerns persist in the society. Mr. Jackson will tell us what those are.
Also in the cover story, Supreme Court Judge Leighton Pusey has ruled that Constable Noel Maitland has a case to answer for the murder and disappearance of his girlfriend, social media influencer Donnelly Donaldson. We will remind you of the main moments so far in the high-profile trial.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, how would you rank, or rather, who would you rank, as the best opposition politician of 2025? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. You can also message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693 or leave your comments on Instagram. That's Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, in wake of Hurricane Melissa, which tested Jamaica's resilience, the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Jamaica Food and Drink Festival are joining forces this year to co-deliver the annual Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival to help reignite tourism and reaffirm Jamaica's openness for business. Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett will join us.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, RevoNews.ai, and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, our favorite day of the week, Friday, January 9, 2026.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The police inspector arrested in a drug bust Thursday night was carrying cocaine with an estimated street value of up to $100 million. The illicit drug reportedly weighed 12.5 pounds. The inspector was among 3 people nabbed by the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division at a bar in Woodford Park, Kingston 4. The others are a JDF officer and a mechanic. Their names are being withheld pending formal charges. Dana Davey has the details.
The inspector holds an administrative role at the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch. He is 51 years old, the JDF member is 43 years old, and the mechanic is 37 years old. All 3 are from St. Catherine addresses. All three were arrested on reasonable suspicion of breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act. According to FNID, a team acting on information went to a bar which was allegedly being used in illegal drug activity. On arrival of the police, the inspector was observed among other patrons at the location. FNID says 3 vehicles, including one identified by the suspect as his, was seen near the bar. The lawmen say based on the information received, the owners of the other 2 vehicles were identified and a search of all 3 requested. A search was conducted of the other 2 vehicles. But FNID says the police inspector refused the team access to his vehicle. A superior FNID officer was called to the scene, and on her arrival, the suspect reportedly informed her that cocaine was in his vehicle. The lawmen say all 3 vehicles were subsequently secured and towed to the FNID HQ. The inspector's vehicle was opened and searched in his presence. FNID says 5 rectangular parcels wrapped in masking tape and clear plastic, each containing a white powdery substance resembling cocaine, was found in a white plastic bag on the floor in the back of the vehicle. The parcels have an estimated weight of 5.8 kilograms or 12.5 pounds. A Glock service pistol, 3 magazines, and 53 rounds of ammunition were also seized. Also seized were the accused inspector's JCF ID, a pistol holster, and a Galaxy Note 9 cell phone. FNID says the other 2 vehicles were sealed and secured at the FNID HQ, pending a systematic search at a later date. The lawmen say they carried out a secondary operation at the inspector's residence in his presence. They say nothing illegal was found. The inspector is at the Halfway Tree police lockup. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
The 25 men alleged to be gangsters linked to the Tesha Miller faction of the St. Catherine-based Klansman gang will know on Monday when the high-profile trial will begin. The trial, which should have gotten underway on Wednesday, has been delayed as attorneys sparred over outstanding DNA and forensic evidence. When the matter was called up on Friday, the matters of DNA and forensic evidence were again raised in court. Robian Williams reports.
Prosecutors advised the court that DNA summary reports and forensic material remain outstanding and that reference samples are still to be taken from 4 of the accused. The Crown said it has been informed that the DNA analysis process will take approximately 16 weeks, followed by an additional 2 to 3 weeks for a peer review once the analysis is completed. Prosecutors also sought permission for some disclosure to take place during the trial. They further indicated that outstanding reports from the Communication Forensic and Cybercrime Division, CFCD, are expected within 6 weeks. Presiding Judge Justice Dale Palmer questioned the timeline, asking what could be accomplished in 6 weeks that had not already been done over the past 2 years. The prosecution responded that the case is voluminous and that CFCD evidence is crucial, particularly as electronic devices were seized from at least 2 of the accused and from 1 of the main witnesses. One of those devices, the Crown said, is of critical importance to its case. Defense attorney Denise Hinson objected to the Crown's application to obtain DNA samples from 1 of the accused. She pointed out that the items have been at the laboratory for 5 years without a DNA profile being developed and said it would be unfair to now compel the accused to provide a sample. Meanwhile, during Friday's hearing, the Commissioner of Corrections, retired Brigadier Raj Mason, addressed claims that attorneys were being prevented from entering the facilities with electronic devices. The claims were made by attorneys involved in the gang matter. The Commissioner told the court that correspondence and meetings were held with the Jamaican Bar Association, JBA. He said the correspondence made it clear that superintendents must not deny inmates access to their legal representatives. He said direct contact was established between attorneys and superintendents to facilitate such visits. To his knowledge, there have been no reports of counsel being prevented from entering facilities with electronic devices. The Commissioner added that no formal complaints have been lodged. Presiding Judge Justice Dale Palmer subsequently ordered that a notice be posted at correctional facilities reminding officers to facilitate attorneys' access and to allow them to bring electronic devices into institutions without difficulty. 25 accused, including the alleged leader Tesha Miller, are before the court under the anti-gang legislation. The matter was adjourned to Monday, when the court is expected to determine a date for the trial to begin. Robianne Williams for Nationwide News. Still in the courts, Constable Noel Maitland must answer to the charges in the case of his missing girlfriend Donnelly Donaldson. The police theorize she was murdered in 2022. Her body has not been found. Maitland is charged with murder and the unlawful burial of Donaldson's body. Having heard a no-case submission from the defense, Presiding Judge Leighton Pusey ruled on Friday that there was sufficient evidence to proceed with the high-profile trial. By rejecting the no-case submission, the judge determined that when the prosecution's evidence is considered in its entirety, a properly directed jury could convict Maitland. As a result, the defense is now required to open its case and may call witnesses in the constable's defense. Defense attorney Saeed Bernard outlined the next steps in the trial following the judge's ruling.
After the defense has opened and closed their case, then the prosecution and defense will give their closings, and then the judge will enter into what is called a summation, which is a process of the judge going back through the evidence and giving guidance as to the law and how the law treats the evidence that has been heard in the trial. Thereafter, the police officers, 2 of them, are sworn to keep the jury in a safe and secret place, after which the jury retires to their room to deliberate, and of course, they return with a verdict.
Saeed Bernard, attorney at law. Bernard does not represent any party in the case.
The Supreme Court has granted Senior Superintendent Wayne Cameron permission to challenge Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake's decision to remove him as chairman of the Jamaica Police Officers Association, the POA. The court has also ordered that the commissioner's directives be put on hold pending the outcome of the case. In a 46-page ruling delivered on Friday, Justice Anne-Marie Nemhard found that there are arguable grounds for judicial review with a realistic prospect of success. She also directed that the chair of the Police Officers Association be vacated and that Cameron is not permitted to represent the Jamaica Constabulary Force outside of official duties. Justice Nemhard ruled that the remaining members of the Police Officers Association executive appoint a chairman temporarily. She directed that the temporary chairman should call a special general meeting for the purpose of electing a new executive. The dispute arose on September 8 last year when Commissioner Blake directed that the POA chairmanship be vacated. In an affidavit, Commissioner Blake cited alleged contradictions and irregularities in the POA's unaudited accounts, the absence of an annual general meeting since 2022, and ongoing investigations into the management of funds deducted from officers' salaries. Cameron's attorneys argued that the commissioner exceeded his legal authority by interfering in the internal governance of an incorporated body. The Police Officers Association is the union representing senior members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Former Minister of Education Reverend Ronald Thwaites is calling for a stronger push to close the gap between the nation's best and worst performing high schools. The matter was a topic of discussion at the annual Archbishop Samuel Carter lecture held at Campion College on Thursday. The guest speaker was social anthropologist and lecturer Dr. Herbert Gale. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
During a question and answer session following his lecture, Dr. Gale highlighted what he says is the large gap in performance between some schools. He noted that in first world countries, the gap is considerably smaller. Reverend Thwaites says it's up to the government to work at closing the local gap.
If you want to be inclusive, if you want to prevent students being tutored to go into the gangs, you have to make sure that the proper resources are available for them. And the $17,000 or $19,000 that every school gets is unequal. Campion, for example, is able to secure significant resources from their parents and alumni. Holy Trinity and Denham Town and Edith Dalton James can't. It is for the government to equalize that situation as far as possible.
The former education minister says one of the most important steps in closing the gap is addressing the matter of how best to fund education across the system. He cited the recent Jamaica Education Transformation Commission in defending his argument.
This notion that the government will pay everything is really a mistake. For those who cannot pay, education must be free. But for those who can pay, there must be a differential. Many of the students here at Campion College coming from preparatory schools where they paid $150,000 a term. When they come here, the ministry frowns on the school asking them for $60,000 for the whole year. Let us be clear as to what we can do and what we must do in order to have proper education, and as Professor Patterson says, where there's surplus in one area, it must be redistributed to where there's lack and need in another.
Reverend Thwaites says well-funded high-performing schools also have a responsibility to assist low-performing schools to boost their performance.
And it need not be the raw transfer of cash from one account to the other. But resources. Look, for example, at the paucity of science teachers. Campion is very well equipped. Technology allows us to do virtual education now. Why can't the students in a under-resourced school have the benefit of the best Campion teachers? What about bringing students for the other days? Yes, incentivizing teachers and ensuring that they have the benefit of the best facilities. We can make better use of that which we have, if only we have that broad sense of responsibility and inclusivity.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
See twice the style for less at IQ Optical. Buy one pair of glasses and get your second and third pair half price. Don't miss out. Call 876-929-7732 or visit IQ Optical today, where clarity never looked sharper.
The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 16 minutes after 5.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rentokil Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Continuing the news, the National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA is condemning the illegal capture and sale of protected parrots. This follows the arrest and charge of an individual in Maumee Bay, St. Ann in December last year. Khaleesi Wright has that story.
In a release on Friday, NEPA noted that on December 24, a joint enforcement operation with the police led to the seizure of 2 yellow-billed parrots, also called the Amazona calaria. The species is protected under Jamaica's Wildlife Protection Act. NEPA says the parrots were recovered alive and transferred to Hope Zoo in Kingston for safekeeping. It notes that the operation also led to the arrest of the individual, with charges being pursued based on Section 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act. This prohibits the hunting and possession of a protected animal or bird without the necessary permits. NEPA says the matter is set to be heard in court on March 5, 2026. Enforcement Coordinator at NEPA, Rochelle Affleck, says the agency has zero tolerance for breaches of the Wildlife Protection Act. She notes that it's the agency's duty to ensure particular species are protected for current and future generations. NEPA is urging members of the public to make a report of suspected wildlife crimes to the agency or the nearest police station. It says that if individuals are found guilty under the Wildlife Protection Act, they can face a maximum fine of $3 million Jamaican dollars or up to 3 years imprisonment. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says several communities in Westmoreland which have been without water since Hurricane Melissa are expected to see the commodity later this month. Vaz says the update follows repeated requests from Water Minister Matthew Samuda.
Minister Matthew Samuda has been on me day and night to get Roaring River back up because of the impact that it has for the parish of Westmoreland. And I'm happy that on the tour today they brought me here to show me exactly where this is, because it's the first time I'm coming. But that we will have water at Roaring River powered by JPS come the 15th of January. And the other plants that it serves, we'll find generators for them until such time as light comes. So 50,000 persons in Westmoreland can look forward to NWC water supply come the 15th of January.
Vaz was speaking on Friday during a tour of the Roaring River pump facility in the parish. More than 300 poles have been constructed and over 5 miles of pipelines laid. Minister Vaz says the new timeline is a result of the government's $150 million loan assistance to the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS.
Without the intervention of the government lending JPS at $150 million, these activities that you are seeing would not be taking place. As a matter of fact, the NWC has confirmed, and the president of JPS, that without this intervention, it is likely that Roaring River will be out until the end of 2026. Can you imagine the people of Westmoreland not having water and not having light, but then not having water after you get back light for 6 and 9 months? Absolutely untenable.
Darrell Vaz, Energy Minister.
World in a Minute is brought to you by Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Regional news, U.S. forces have seized another tanker in the Caribbean Sea as the Trump administration continues its efforts to control exports of Venezuelan oil. The tanker, named Olina, is on the sanctions list of multiple countries and is the 5th vessel to be seized by the United States in recent weeks. The U.S. is using the seizures to pressure Venezuela's interim government and remove the fleet of tankers from service. Officials say the fleet consists of more than 1,000 vessels that transport sanctioned and illicit oil. The vessel reportedly left Venezuelan waters late on Sunday after the U.S. seized President Nicolas Maduro in an early morning raid. Officials said Friday's operation was carried out before dawn by Marines and sailors in coordination with the Department of Homeland Security.
European leaders urged Iran late Friday to allow its citizens to demonstrate without reprisal. This after Tehran signaled security forces would crack down on the protesters, whom U.S. President Donald Trump has pledged to support. At least 62 people have been killed in the protests that began in late December over Iran's ailing economy. It has morphed into the most significant challenge to the government in years. Iran's supreme leader dismissed Trump as having hands stained with the bloods of Iranians as his supporters shouted "Death to America" in footage aired by Iranian state television. Trump has repeatedly pledged to strike Iran if the protesters are killed.
World in a Minute was brought to you by Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the 12 pounds of cocaine found in a police inspector's car has an estimated street value of up to $100 million.
New start date for Tesha Miller gang trial expected on Monday.
Judge rules Noel Maitland must answer to the charge of murdering his girlfriend, Donnelly Donaldson.
SSP Wayne Cameron wins the right to seek judicial review of his ouster as chair of the Police Officers Association.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at revonews.ai and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next. The headlines at 6.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. $250K to help you to gift a smile. groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile, sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. President of Cricket West Indies, Dr. Kishore Shallow, has defended the body's selection policy, but he said the model will be reviewed after the upcoming World Cup and before the end of this year. Dr. Shallow said the board had agreed to let the system, which has the head coach as the principal selector, run for a period before making any adjustment. Now, Shallow, he acknowledged concerns over vesting overall selection responsibility with current head coaches Darren Sammy for the men's team and Shane Dietz for the women's team, but rejected the idea that the process is dependent on one person. Shallow says it's instead a very comprehensive system with different experts informing the final decision. He also argued that the wider structural issues like the player pool, the development pathways and infrastructure speaks more to West Indies' inconsistent results than the selection model itself. Since Sammy became coach of all formats for the West Indies team, and of course that was in April of last year, the West Indies have lost 7 of 8 test matches. They, with just one draw, 4 of their 11 one-day internationals they won. One of them was a no result, and of course they won 7 and lost 10 of their T20 international games. Joseph Salmon of Jamaica College and Zavine Bernard of Hydel High School were in record-breaking form on Friday as day one of the Pure Water R. Danny Williams JC Development Meet unfolded at the Ashenheim Stadium on the school ground. Salmon delivered a commanding performance in the Class 1 boys discus. He launched to implement a meet record and lifetime best performance of 66 meters 32, and for that he won the gold medal. Calabar High's Kimarley Kennedy claimed second with a lifetime best as well. He did 56 meters on the nose, while Tyrone Henry of Papine High School finished third after producing a lifetime best 52 meters 87. The girls' open triple jump went to, well, Bernard, who also etched her name into the record book. She soared a meet record and lifetime best of 12 meters 33 to take top honors in that particular event. Her Hydel teammate Sabrina Atkinson was close behind in second, recording a season's best 12 meters 28, while Homo Technical's Michaela Lomore secured third place. She did a lifetime best 12 meters 28. Nazir Diakala of Jamaica College won the Class 2 boys discus. He threw 48 meters and 58. Kidane Linton of Calabar was second, 45 meters 03, and the Trinidad and Tobago national Jafari Shaw, competing for Jamaica College, was third with 44 meters on the nose. Still with athletics, Ian Barker of St. Catherine High School ran a personal best 21.56 seconds to win the Class 1 boys 200 meters D final at Sprintfest. That meet also at Jamaica College on Friday. Raheem Collins of St. George's College, he was second in 21.99. Chavoy Thompson of Holland High School was third in 22.65. Tahini Bryce of Papine High School captured the Class 1 girls 200 meters B final in a lifetime best at 25.48 seconds, while Dwayne Lewis of Merle Grove High School was second, 25.59. Third went to Hydel's Tanil Smiley, 25.60 seconds. We've got another final for you. That is the 8th final, and it went to Angel Stewart of Holy Childhood in 25.74 seconds. Shade Dawson was second, 26.34, and Kiana Walker of St. Andrew High School was third in 26.63 seconds. News now on football. Members of the Excelsior High School community They took over the streets of Mountain View and surrounding areas, celebrating their latest schoolboy football success. The Mountain View Avenue-based school beat the Costa Cup champion St. Elizabeth Technical by 2-0 in the Olivia Shield playoff on Thursday at Stadium East to break a 22-year-old drought. The victory came 2 weeks after they secured their first Manning Cup crown in over 2 decades. The players and coaching staff were carried on a motorcade around the area showing off their silverware. That's why you're looking at the Excelsior team this morning. And their coach, Keon Broderick, credits the work done in the days leading up to the final for the success.
I mean, first off, we knew exactly what we wanted to do, and we know exactly what the state team was going to do. With the long balls, we asked the team to actually defend those first balls and try to get to the second ball well. Now, going into the break in front, in the lead, it was now how much we can conserve what we have. And so, for long periods of the second half, naturally we reverted into a mid to low block. And I mean, defending is a part of the game, and I think the boys defended well.
That's Keon Broderick, coach of Excelsior. And finally, in sports at this time, we're going to AFCON over in Morocco. The favorites, of course, Morocco and Senegal. They're sealed their places in the semi-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations. The host, Morocco, easily dispatched another former champion, the Cameroon, 2-0 in their quarterfinal clash in capital city Rabat. Goals coming from Real Madrid's superstar Ibrahim Diaz and PSV's Ismail Sabari.
Hakibi, half a dozen corners already. The header! And it's good! Morocco lead! I'm not going to mention names. Just take a guess. Morocco with a breakthrough inside the opening half hour. There's Ozuli. Inviting ball, back post. Saibari drills it home for 2. And a man who is so deserving of a goal this tournament finally has one. Ismail Saibari.
And the Moroccans will play in the semi-final next Wednesday. They'll play against the winner of the quarterfinal tomorrow. That's on Saturday between Algeria and Nigeria. That game to be played in Rabat as well. And Senegal, they needed a 27th minute goal from the Everton man, that's Oulimar Ndiaye, to beat Mali in their quarterfinal game.
Hakibi. Little ball here. Now can Gay get this back into the danger zone? Diarra slips it and Ndiaye scores. Iliman Ndiaye has Senegal in the lead.
And so Senegal in the quarterfinals, they now into the semifinals, and they'll play in the semifinal, the winner tomorrow. There's another quarterfinal on Saturday between the Côte d'Ivoire, and they'll take on Egypt in a really, really tasty semi-final game that should really produce some good football on Saturday. And that will do it for sport. We're going to have much more when we come back at 6:05 in our major sportscast.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:32.
Get a deal, share a smile and win with Digicel. Own a brand new Samsung Galaxy smartphone for as low as $9,500 plus tax when you buy a SIM. Activate a 28-day plan or switch to Digicel. And here's the best part, you could win $250,000 cash. The Digicel Gift a Smile promotion is authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period December 1, 2025 to January 24, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for more ways to win and more reasons to smile this season. Digicel, reconnecting Jamaica, one smile at a time.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking bits.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Loan vibes, loan laughs, and loan entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. Don't forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome, the Shell Boss, I'm gonna make your bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tune. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and dumb is a thing.
Good afternoon to you. Happy Friday to you. Hope we find you well. Welcome to Nationwide at 5. It's the cover story, and of course, it's a hopeful Friday. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Professor Donna Hope. Yes, Ricardo, good to hear from you. Hi, listeners, YouTubers, and potential callers. Another hopeful Fridays. Indeed.
How are you, Prof?
I am here being the best version I can be, Ricardo. It's a new year. I'm still happy that we are in 2026 and looking at the various possibilities that lie ahead. Very grateful.
Excellent. And of course, for 2026, Jamaica's perennial problem, the matter of crime and security. The opposition spokesman on national security, Fitz Jackson, he's raised safety concerns despite a significant reduction in murders. For 2025, the country recorded its lowest murder tally in over 30 years. Last year, 673 murders. This represents a 42% decline over 2024.
Murders also declined in 2023 with a near 8% drop. The last time that Jamaica recorded fewer than 1,000 murders was in 2003. And the last time that the country's murder tally fell below the 700 mark was back in 1994. 17 of the country's 19 police divisions recorded decreases in murders.
The exceptions were St. Anne and St. Thomas. The decline in murders forms part of a wider fall in serious crimes, with overall reported crime down 17% year on year. Shootings and rapes have also declined, but the opposition spokesman on security says the reduction in murders does not necessarily equate to a safe society. This, as up to December 30 last year, data showed increases in robberies, which rose by 8%, and break-ins, which increased by 17%. Mr. Jackson joins us now. Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. Happy New Year to you, sir.
Mr. Brooks and Professor Hope and your team and your listeners, I greet you well, and I extend warm wishes for the new year 2026 and all of Jamaica.
All right.
Thank you so much, Fitch. Thank you. And of course, same to you and your family, and good to hear you in this forum so that we can move through the conversations. Given that the murders have declined in the 2 consecutive years we are looking at, why do you maintain that the country, that our beloved Jamaica, is still not safe? Expound on it for us.
Well, I listened to Ricardo's summary of what I said, but something else was not said when I had that discussion with the news media from which you brought the story.
Yes.
First of all, let me say categorically, murder reduction ought to have been and is the welcome goal for Jamaica. Reduction of murders. And that is without reservation. So let us be clear on that. All right? That's it. The point I was making is that while we seek to and we achieve murder reduction, what is also important is that we seek to achieve a sense of security in our communities. And by that I mean, and I made the point, one of the reasons, the only reason why the high murder rate is important is not only those who get killed and the families of those who kill suffer from those murders, the rest of the society suffers. Because people are so traumatized, people are so fearful that they can't go about pursuing and enjoying their life because they don't feel safe. And that's where the security element comes in. The point I was seeking to make is that while we welcome the reductions we have had, and seek to strive for more reduction, right, we have to also at the same time seek to ensure that the absence of murder creates a peacefulness and a sense of safety prevail in the communities, so that you and everyday Jamaicans can feel comfortably safe to go about enjoying their life, walk the streets late at night, go anywhere they want without the fear of being murdered or any violence come upon them. That's the point I want to make, and I think that was missed in the message that you conveyed, that was mentioned earlier on.
And we appreciate the fulsome explanation. But to be fair, Fitzjackson, if murders constitute one of the gravest threats to our security and the sense of safety that you just spoke to, I think you'd agree with me that the high levels of murders has constituted one of the gravest threats to that. If that is falling, is it not reasonable to conclude that with that reduction will also come a greater sense of security? Because people won't feel, if I go to the market, if I go to a party, if I go to a dance, if I go to the movies, if I go down the road, I'll be shot and killed. Doesn't that follow?
Ricardo?
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying. And I think you missed, maybe not sufficiently explicit. I made that very point, that the reduction in murders are welcome, undesirable, and needed for the reasons you gave. I just need to go beyond that.
And what does that going beyond that look like? What does that look like?
For example, as we seek to have the reduction in murders, we want the communities across Jamaica, right? That, for example, one of the big concerns that people have in many communities is the high fatalities from the police. And I can tell you as a member, I go in communities at times when people feel afraid of the police. We can't deny that. And the point I was trying to make, and I will still seek to make it, is that the reduction must be pursued simultaneously with a strategy that brings the community with the security forces.
But Fitzjackson and Ricardo, because I have been tracking with the JCF and the associated entities, that there have been efforts put in place to encourage higher levels of community policing, integrating with the communities, and that conversation about extrajudicial killings. We see Indicom is very busy working in that area. So I hear you, Fitzjackson, about the police and the role of the police in some of the fatalities, and we are hearing about that at the start of the year. But I also think that in terms of the issue of safety and moving just beyond fatalities, that many persons have a concern about what we would call property crimes, because those are on the rise. They do not get as much headline effects because we tend to focus on murders and that high level criminality associated with murder. But property crimes are also a critical threat to people's sense of safety and security. People go and rob you and break into your house and hold you up and steal your things with gun or knife or other device. So how does that in a lot of ways factor then into the safety of the citizens that you are concerned about?
No, man, I'm fully on board with you, and that is the totality thing I'm talking about. The security force knows, commissioner knows that under high ranking. I'm probably one of the biggest disciples of community policing, because I have witnessed the effect and success of it in communities in my own constituency over the years. And yes, Puff, you made the point about those property crimes, domestic violence too, right?
Yes.
Is a major part of it. And all I'm saying, I don't want us to get just consumed with just the murder reduction. I want a more holistic, focus on this approach. I am not knocking for 1 second, and it would be irresponsible and foolhardy for anybody to knock. We promulgate over the years and continue to promulgate for crime murder reduction and crime reduction. When it comes, you can't frown on it.
Yeah.
You want to make it better.
Yeah.
You want to make it more comprehensive. And most importantly, you want to make sure that it is as sustainable as is possible.
Let's say we woke up in a world on the 10th of January 2026. Fitzjackson is Minister of National Security. What does he do differently from Horace Chang, Andrew Holness, to ensure that from a policy standpoint, we, as you're saying, extend the gains now to ensure broader security? Well, what does Fitzjackson do differently?
One element of it has been touched already, and I have been campaigning for that with the minister and with the JCF. Community policing. Community policing. One.
But Fitzjackson, I have to stop you there, because my understanding, as Prof pointed out, is that is a considerable pillar of the strategy being now pursued by the JCF. That's my understanding.
Ricardo, with all due respect, promulgation and advocating a policy and the extent to which it manifests on the ground and the adequate resource allocation to drive it, it's a different thing.
All right, hold it there. We know you have to go soon, but we're up on a break. Let's just take the break and come back with the rest of your response. Please, Fitzjackson, opposition spokesman on security, talking this business of crime and security.
Managing your investments with Sagicor is now easy as ever. You can fund stocks, repos, and do more seamlessly. Even get a clear overview of your portfolio performance on the enhanced Sagicor eBank platform. Want to experience effortless investment banking on Sagicor eBank? It's as easy as ever. Contact your Sagicor Investment Wealth Advisor today and update your personal information for access. Call 888-SAGICOR or visit sagicor.com for more information.
We're back with you on Nationwide at 5. The cover story, our guest Fitzjackson, opposition spokesman on security. Before the break, he was outlining what he would do differently in 2026 to ensure that we build on the gains of murder reduction to ensure broader citizen security across the country. I interrupted you, Fitz. Go ahead.
No problem. Yeah, I was making the point in regard to social, to community policing, Ricardo. You know, I've been long, you have been around. A mere pronouncement of something doesn't make for it occurrence in any fulsome way. And nobody will honestly say that community policing is at the forefront of efforts on the ground. Certainly not in my constituency, I can tell you that. And many others. And so many other people across the country. But so, be that as it may. The other thing about it is the issue of the body cameras.
Yes.
The body-worn cameras. It has become almost, regrettably, a kind of political issue. That is unfortunate. Because one side or one set of persons are pushing for it and the government is pushing back. Some things we can just take as a matter of fact. First of all, and most importantly,
is that correct, though, Fitzjackson? The government is pushing back? Why do you say that?
Let me tell you why. Yeah, man, I'll tell you. How long now have we been talking about the body-worn cameras?
Is that rhetorical, or you want me to answer?
I think he's trying to establish a timeline, but I think though that fits that the body-worn cameras. I'm trying to recall the timeline.
We
I
lost
think
him.
because his line
it wasn't rhetorical. We lost him.
Yeah. Oh, but it was his line
Yeah.
was getting very bad. But I think I realized if we try to get him back before we go to the next leg of cover story, that this conversation about body-worn cameras has to be brokered on a sense of the economic reality of it, and also the technical capabilities and the infrastructure that will have to be put in place to equip the entire Jamaica Constabulary.
Yeah, but I think, Prof, we're
I don't get anyone is pushing back. I don't get the impression there's a pushback on it as much as it is going to have to be a sustained effort over time.
Which is why I wanted Fitz to clarify what he meant, because I mean it's an extraordinary claim to make if a government and a JCF has dedicated the resources to acquire these things, has engaged in the procurement, to say it's pushing back against it. He was about to explain what exactly he meant by that. Unfortunately, we lost him. He's back. Mr. Jackson, pushing back how so? Procurement underway, 1,000 of them, the money budgeted for, it's been budgeted for, and the force is down the wicket in terms of acquiring them. So what do you mean by pushing back?
Ricardo, with all due respect.
Fitz Jackson, with all due respect. Those are the facts. So what do you mean by that?
Wait, Ricardo, man. Come on, man.
No, man, tell me, because I'm sure my listeners are as surprised as I am to hear.
Come on, man. What we're talking about is something to be designed in a lab. Right? These are technologies that have been around and are around right across the world. Right? All the elements required is a matter of procurement.
And Fitz Jackson, having served as State Minister of Finance, knows that procurement is a big problem.
It's a very big problem. That is a
all right,
problem.
go ahead, Fitz Jackson.
It is a procurement issue. It depends on the priority that is placed on it. In government, we have processes for emergency and urgent procurement. We do have that provision. So we can buy things within days and within weeks once it's available and can be sourced. All the infrastructure, all the backroom things that we talk, that has been determined, that is needed. Over 2 years now we know about those things. I had the opportunity to establish them. And as we speak, as you just said, they are being done to come on stream.
So you're not convinced by the argument that the kind of cameras to be procured are specific to the operational requirements. You're not convinced by the technical explanations given by the commission. No, Fitzjack. No. The commissioner himself. The commissioner himself has outlined those arguments.
What I am saying is that the appropriate specification, right, for the equipment to be had, they are attainable. And even if you were to order them, they would have been manufactured long ago.
So your argument then is that there's not sufficient urgency.
Say that again?
The argument then is that there's not sufficient urgency. That's your conclusion.
Exactly. That's the crux of my argument. Because if there was urgency to it, it could have been long attained.
Yeah. And I know you engage the high command. When you engage them on this matter, what's the response that you get?
You know, one of my colleagues on the other side in government said some years ago, he's not going to applaud announcement, he's going to applaud delivery. The Minister of Justice. Right? And no matter what explanation give it, what all that matters for me is that what you say is what is done. When it's done, it's done. Because we have a tendency in Jamaica that once we give something that sounds plausible, we beat our chest and say we gave a good explanation, but we have not solved the problem. It's like you ask somebody a question, they give you an answer, but they respond, but they don't answer the question you ask. We have had enough of that.
Fitz Jackson, Ricardo, because we have another section to the cover story, but in a realistic sense, Fitz Jackson, based on your own knowledge, what kind of timeline should we be looking at for the delivery and the put into service of the body-worn cameras that have been ordered?
The timeline have long past. It is like as of now, because we've been walking this road for a very long time.
Hurricane Melissa, Hurricane Beryl, a lot of different shocks along the timeline.
That don't have anything to do with this.
It has not, but it has a lot. For me, Hurricane Melissa in particular has a lot to do with many things in Jamaica today. All of us, even those who are not in the West, have been impacted significantly in all the areas that we work. And I have to put that in the mix.
No, man, and I agree with you. With you, but not as it relates to acquiring the cameras.
Fitz Jackson,
All right.
we appreciate your time as always. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, and looking forward to having you back, Fitz. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much.
And we're going to have to also have a conversation on the banking fees.
Yes, Fitz Jackson. Yes.
That remains a problem.
We're bringing you back for that, Fitz. We're bringing you back for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't say we, but we should have it. Say we must have it tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Next, put him.
We'll have you back
looking
for that
forward
one.
to that.
Thank you,
yes,
Fitz.
Yes, indeed. All right. Take care of yourself. Yes.
All right. In the last 5 minutes that we have, Robian Williams has joined me on set. How you doing, Roby?
Well, I'm well. Thank
Okay.
you. Greetings,
Hi,
Professor
Rubian.
Hope.
Hi, Rubian. And excitement. You have some excitement for us in looking at some of what has been happening today in the court system, some court updates.
Indeed.
Maitland and Clansman, Rubian.
Indeed,
Yes.
a lot has been happening inside the court house.
So let's start with Noel Maitland's trial. The
Yes.
judge today decided that he has a case to answer in this high-profile matter of the suspected murder and disappearance of Donnelly Donaldson. His defense attorneys were saying that the prosecution has not laid out sufficient evidence on which a jury could convict. The judge is saying no. He thinks that the prosecution has. Remind us, what are some of the key points in terms of witnesses that we've heard from the prosecution?
All right, so for the prosecution's case, there were 36 witnesses, including the mother, Donnelly's brother, Donnelly's aunt, several investigating officers, as well as her best friend. Now, throughout the evidence, we've heard that Donnelly left Maitland's apartment on July 12. According to him, that was after an argument they had over a picture on a wall of his baby mother. They had an argument in that regard, and she left. That was his argument. Now, according to the defense, that's their stance. She left.
She was never. She left the apartment.
She left the apartment, so Maitland wasn't aware of her whereabouts in that particular time.
Pause for a cause. Because my recollection of the evidence so far, as you've reported it, is that there were bloodstains found on various articles from the apartment that she is alleged to have left.
Indeed, but what the defense has said is that based on their own case that they will present and have to present, and evidence has been led in that regard to say that blood can stay on a surface up to a year. So their position is that we don't know when
That
this blood was
there.
right.
One of the more interesting lines of inquiry that I heard you report, menstruation, period blood?
Yeah, that was a line of questioning the defense brought up to say that the blood could have gotten there through ordinary contact or through her seeing her period.
On the drapes?
I wondered about that as well.
And did you observe the jurors when that line of questioning was being led?
All right, so I think the jurors, they have been as casual as they possibly can throughout this process. No reaction, stone face, just taking in everything and just waiting for their moment to go out.
Yeah. Here's another thing I wondered, Robian, because you and I, Prof, also would know that this became quite the sensation online.
Social media.
Right.
Yes.
The ages of the jurors, do they look more young? Are they more young people,
they
older
are on
folks?
the older side. I can tell you that only 2 seem as though they're in their 30s. I would put it at that. But these are old, elderly people, and I think the defense and the prosecution, they were quite strategic in choosing the jurors.
Absolutely, and that's where I want to bring in Prof, because Prof, we talk about the business of digital natives and chronically online, and you wonder, would an older set of jurors have been exposed to the kind of information that we have been, relentless information about this case online? And Roby said strategic, and that might be it,
but that might be a part of it. Remember that this case was taken up, for example, by a lot of the online bloggers and pulled out into the public domain and made into a spectacle. People were placarding, on the streets. And so persons of different age range and age demographics have been given a lot of insight coming from different angles about what people see as an atrocious act. So there is going to be something floating around in the environment that many persons would have been exposed to. So it rests in the hands of the jury.
But do you believe that perhaps part of the strategy, as Robin just suggested, is that the defense certainly is hoping that older people may not have been exposed to that sort of prejudicial pre-trial coverage that we saw from the vloggers?
Perhaps they are hoping, and perhaps, but again, let us see how it works though, because again, Robian, when I saw the submission today from the judge, in the back of my head, I said, I wonder if we're heading in a direction similar to what happened with the cartel case, because there was a lot of pulling forward to the fact that there was no body.
Circumstantial evidence.
And a lot of the evidence was being pulled together, and we see where we are in 2026, so we can, look at that. But I think we also have to talk quickly about the Klansman case, Ricardo.
Indeed, that one is shaping up.
But just before we go to Klansman, next for Maitland, so the defense opens its case when?
Monday.
Monday, okay.
Indeed.
On Monday, okay.
Indeed.
Yes.
So Klansman, another Klansman trial before the courts. That one is shaping up to be headliner 25, including the alleged leader Tesha Miller. That matter was slated to begin earlier this week, but because of materials outstanding, that's not going to be the case. The prosecutors have asked for a possible date to start in June. The judge, Justice Dale Palmer, is mindful that there are a lot of things to begin in June, along with a matter that is similar to that one. And he insists that the matter is going to start for this term.
Yeah. And as you know, Robbie, you know well that these anti-gang trials tend to go on for quite some time. So the sooner it starts,
the first Klansman gang trial, it started in 2021 and ended in 2023.
And I think it's important.
Yes.
I think it's important to note as well that this may be, and I'm open to being corrected, but this may be the first anti-gang trial that's not being presided over
by
the Chief Justice.
Brian Sykes.
So I think that's also important. Yeah. So we'll continue to watch it with our court reporter Robian Williams. 6 o'clock headline time.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
It's a minute after 6.
It's a season to share, more to give. Pizza Hut, amazing food plus.
Feeding good times.
The temperature by Pizza Hut is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. The police inspector arrested in a drug bust Thursday night was carrying cocaine with an estimated street value of up to $100 million. The illicit drug reportedly weighed 12.5 pounds. The inspector was among 3 people nabbed by the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division, FNID, at a bar in Woodford Park, Kingston 4. The inspector holds an administrative role at the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC. According to FNID, a team acting on information went to a bar which was allegedly being used in an illegal drug activity. On arrival of the police, the inspector was observed among other patrons at the location. FNID says 3 vehicles, including one identified by the suspect as his, was seen near the bar. The lawmen say, based on the information received, the owners of the other 2 vehicles were identified and a search of all 3 requested. A search was conducted of the other 2 vehicles. FNID says 5 rectangular parcels wrapped in masking tape and clear plastic, each containing a white powdery substance resembling cocaine, was found in a white plastic bag on the floor in the back of the vehicle. The parcels have an estimated weight of 5.8 kilograms or 12.5 pounds. A Glock service pistol, 3 magazines, and 53 rounds of ammunition were also seized. The 25 men alleged to be gangsters linked to the Tesha Miller faction of the St. Catherine-based Klansman gang will know on Monday when the high-profile trial will begin. The trial, which should have gotten underway on Wednesday, has been delayed as attorneys sparred over outstanding DNA and forensic evidence. When the matter was called up on Friday, those matters were again raised in court. Still in the courts, Constable Noel Maitland must answer to the charges in the case of his missing girlfriend, Donnelly Donaldson. The police theorize she was murdered in 2022. Her body has not been found. Maitland is charged with murder and the unlawful burial of Donaldson's body. Having heard a no-case submission from the defense, presiding Judge Leighton Pusey ruled on Friday that there was sufficient evidence to proceed with the high-profile trial. By rejecting the no-case submission, the judge determined that when the prosecution's evidence is considered in its entirety, a properly directed jury could convict Maitland. As a result, the defense is now required to open its case and may call witnesses in the constable's defense. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says several communities in Westmoreland which have been without water since Hurricane Melissa are expected to see the commodity later this month. Vaz says the update follows repeated requests from Water Minister Matthew Samuda.
Minister Matthew Samuda has been on me day and night to get Roaring River back up because of the impact that it has for the parish of Westmoreland. And I'm happy that on the tour today they brought me here to show me exactly where this is because it's the first time I'm coming. But that we will have water at Roaring River powered by JPS come the 15th of January. And the other plants that it serves will find generators for them until such time as light comes. So 50,000 persons in Westmoreland can look forward to NWC water supply come the 15th of January.
Vaz was speaking on Friday during a tour of the Roaring River pump facility in the parish. More than 300 poles have been constructed and over 5 miles of pipelines laid. Minister Vaz says the new timeline is a result of the government's $150 million loan assistance to the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS.
Without the intervention of the government lending JPS at $150 million US, these activities that you are seeing would not be taking place. As a matter of fact, the NWC has confirmed and the president of JPS that without this intervention, it is likely that Roaring River will be out until the end of 2026. Can you imagine the people of Westmoreland not having water and not having light, but then not having water after you get back light for 6 and 9 months? Absolutely untenable.
Darrell Vaz, Energy Minister. Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says over 50% of the city's hotels have reopened. This follows the disruption of the tourism product across the parish following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Mayor Vernon gave the update at a sitting of the St. James Municipal Corporation on Thursday.
Approximately 55% of hotels in Montego Bay are now open, with occupancy levels between 55 and 60%. In the cruise sector, there have been 16 calls, the arrival of cruise ships since Hurricane Melissa, compared with 27 calls for the same period last year. These figures recorded 2 months after a Category 5 hurricane underscore both ongoing disruption and notable recovery momentum across accommodation and port operation.
Richard Vernon, Mayor of Montego Bay. The tourism sector was widely impacted by the Category 5 system. The sector saw destruction of several properties and pause to many tourism activities. But it quickly recovered with the sector recording over 300,000 visitors on the island after it was reopened on December 15. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, is condemning the illegal capture and sale of protected parrots. This follows the arrest and charge of an individual in Maumee Bay, St. Anne in December 2025. In a release on Friday, NEPA noted that on December 24, a joint enforcement operation with the police led to the seizure of 2 yellow-billed parrots, also called the Amazona calaria. The species is protected under Jamaica's Wildlife Protection Act. NEPA says the parrots were recovered alive and transferred to Hope Zoo in Kingston for safekeeping. It notes that the operation also led to the arrest of the individual, with charges being pursued based on Section 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act. NEPA is urging members of the public to make a report of suspected wildlife crimes to the agency or the nearest police station. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Managing your investments with Sagicor is now easy as ever. You can fund stocks, repos, and do more seamlessly. Even get a clear overview of your portfolio performance on the enhanced Sagicor eBank platform. Want to experience effortless investment banking on Sagicor eBank? It's as easy as ever. Contact your Sagicor Investment Wealth Advisor today and update your personal information for access. Call 888-SAGICOR or visit sagicor.com for more information.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening with your sports report. I'm Alric Swaby. We bowl things off with some cricket, as President Dr. Kishore Shallow has defended Cricket West Indies selection policy, but said the model will be reviewed after the upcoming World Cup and before the end of the year. Dr. Shallow said the board had agreed to let the system, which has the head coach as the principal selector, run for a period before making any judgment. Shallow acknowledged concerns over vesting overall selection responsibility with current head coach Darren Sammy for the men's team and Shane Dietz for the women, but rejected the idea that the process is dependent on one person. Shallow says it's instead a very comprehensive system with different experts informing the final decision. He also argued that the wider structural issues like the player pool, development pathways, and infrastructure speaks more to the West Indies' inconsistent results than the selection model itself. Since Sam became coach for the all-format and was given the final say on team selection in April last year, West Indies have lost 7 of 8 tests, with 1 draw, won 4 of 11 one-day international, 1 no result, and won 7 and lost 10 T20 internationals. Brandon McCullum, head coach of England's senior men's cricket team, bemoans the lack of a fielding coach during the recent Ashes series. McCullum says the leading candidates for the job were all contracted to franchises in limited overs cricket. England's fielding was under the microscope as they dropped 17 catches over the 5-match series. McCullum says it played a vital role in them losing the series by a 4-1 margin.
Yeah, well, we don't have a fielding coach. It wasn't for the lack of trying, but that's unfortunately, there's lots of franchise cricket on at the moment, and unfortunately, franchise pay a lot more than we do. So that's just the nature of how things work sometimes. But look, we do a lot of training, we do a lot of fielding work, and you know, a lot of those catches were hard. There was a couple of ones which you'd expect to take, and you can't expect to come down here and be successful in Australia if you're not holding your catches, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do so. Well, again, that's something as a coach you got to look at, right? In the next little while, I've already acknowledged that there's some mistakes which you made as a coach, and you're aware of that.
According to McCullum, while England is heavily criticised for their baseball approach to Test cricket, he thinks there's method to the madness.
I have conviction in my methods, but I'm not rigid in my beliefs. I think is when you're in the chair of being in charge of a team, and not just the players, but sports staff and management, etc. You need to be very convinced in how you're going to lead the side. Doesn't mean that you're blind to progress and you're blind to evolution, but you have to have conviction in what you believe in. And I have conviction in my methods. It doesn't mean I'm not rigid in the belief that I think we can continue to grow and progress. But to throw out everything that's worked and to throw out what we've been able to achieve over the last little while in pursuit of something that is completely unknown doesn't make any sense.
Brendan McCullum. Now to track and field, as Joseph Salmon of Jamaica College and Xavier Bernard of Hydel High were in record-breaking form on Friday as day one of the Pure Water R. Daniel Williams JC Development Meet unfolded at the Ashenheim Stadium. Salmon delivered a commanding performance in the Class 1 boys discus, launching the implement a meet record and personal best distance of 66.32 meters to secure gold. Calabar High's Kamari Kennedy claimed second with a personal best throw of 56 meters, while Tyrone Henry of Papine High finished third after producing a personal best 52.87 meters. In the girls' open triple jump, Bernard also etched her name into the record books. She soared to a meet record and a personal best jump of 12.33 meters to take top honors. Her Hydel teammate Sabrina Atkinson was close behind in second, recording a season's best 12.28 meters, while Homewood Technical's Michaela Longmore secured third place with a personal best effort of 12.28 meters. Nasser De Aguilar of Jamaica College won the Class 2 boys discus with a throw of 48.58 meters. Kidane Linton of Calabar was second with 45.03 meters, and Trinidad and Tobago national Jafari Shah, competing for Jamaica College, was third with 44 meters. The meet continues on Saturday. Ian Baker of St. Catherine High ran a personal best 22.54 seconds to win the Class 1 boys 200 meters D final at Sprint Fest at Jamaica College on Friday. Raheem Collins of St. George's College was second in 21.99, and Savoy Thomas of Homewood of Holland High third in 22.65 seconds. Tania Bryce of Papine High captured the Class 1 girls 200 meters B final in a lifetime best 25.48 seconds. Dwayne Lewis of Mergrove High was second in 25.59 seconds, and Hydel's Tennille Smiley third in 25.60 seconds. The A final went to Angel Stewart of Holy Childhood in 25.74 seconds, with Shade Dawson second in 26.34 and Kiana Walker of St. Andrew High third in 26.63. Now to footballers. Members of the Excelsior High School community took over the streets of Mountain View and surrounding areas, celebrating their latest schoolboy football success. The Mountain View Avenue-based school beat the Costa Cup champion St. Elizabeth Tech 2-0 in the Oliver Shield playoff on Thursday at Stadium East to break a 22-year drought. The victory came 2 weeks after securing their first Manning Cup crown in over 2 decades. The players and coaching staff were carried on a motorcade around the area, showing off both silverware. Coach Kian Broderick credits the work done in the days leading up to the playoff for the success.
I mean, first off, we knew exactly what we wanted to do, and we know exactly what the state team was going to do. With the long balls, we asked the team to actually defend those first balls and try to get to the second ball well. Now, going into the break in front, in the lead, it was now how much we can conserve what we have. And so, for long periods of the second half, naturally we reverted into a mid to low block. And I mean, defending is a part of the game, and I think the boys defended well.
Broderick says it was a spectacular season.
Means a lot, as we've been saying from week. This is the first we have had it by ourselves. Normally we would share it the last 2 times we won it. We will share it with another school. So it means a lot. It means a lot to the program. It means a lot to the coaching staff, to the management team who have worked so hard to get these boys not only focusing on football, but balancing academics and football. And I think we have done a tremendous job in getting these boys to focus on the academical side and as well to lift titles as well. So this is a testimony that it can be done. You can balance both school and football.
Kian Broderick. Now the Jessa Alberga Cup football competition continues on Saturday with quarter-final round action scheduled across 3 venues. At St. Peter and Paul Field, the home team and defending champions will be in action against St. Andrew Prep in what is expected to be one of the standout matches of the round. Meanwhile, at Liberty Field, the host and Vaz Prep will take to the field following the opening contest between Emmanuel and the Reach Academy. At Buttercup Park, Mona Prep will face Hillel Academy, while St. Hugh's Prep go up against Creative Kids in another eagerly anticipated encounter. With championship hopes on the line, Saturday's matches promises competitive football as the Jessa Alberga Cup moves closer to its climax. Favourites Morocco and Senegal sealed their semi-final spot at the Africa Cup of Nations on Friday. Host Morocco easily dispatched another former champions Cameroon 2-0 in their quarter-final clash in Rabat with goals from Real Madrid's Ibrahim Diaz and PSV's Ismail Sabari.
Hakibi, half a dozen corners already, the header, and it's good! Morocco lead! I'm not going to mention names, just take a guess. Morocco with a breakthrough inside the opening half hour. There's Ozuli, inviting ball, back post, Saibari drills it home for two. And the man who is so deserving of a goal this tournament finally has one. Ismail Saibari.
Morocco will play the winner of Saturday's quarterfinal between Algeria and Nigeria. Senegal needed a 27-minute goal from Iliman Ndiaye of Everton to beat Mali in their quarterfinal clash.
Little ball here. Now can Gay get this back into the danger zone? Diarra slips it and Ndiaye scores. Iliman Ndiaye has Senegal in the lead.
Senegal will next face the winner of the Ivory Coast-Egypt quarterfinal on Saturday. Now to basketball, as Issa Schoolboy basketball results saw a close contest in both the rural and urban zone at the under-19 level on Friday. In the rural zone, Knox College secured a solid 48-40 victory over the St. Elizabeth Tech. Knox led from early and maintained control through disciplined team play, outscoring Stats in the final quarter. Tajir Leslie led the way for Knox with 16 points, providing key scoring down the stretch. For Stats, Romario Mulgrave kept his team competitive with a game-high 13 points, but it wasn't enough to close the gap. Meanwhile, in the urban zone, Campion College edged Camperdown 49-46 in a thrilling finish. Campion relied on a strong all-round performance from Zachary Lawson, who posted 13 points and an impressive 15 rebounds, while Raheem Martel also chipped in with 13. Now, the local cycling fraternity received a significant boost on Thursday when the Elevation Cycling Club donated 80 pairs of cycling shoes valued at more than $8,000 to several cycling organizations and clubs across the island. The beneficiaries include the Jamaica Cycling Federation, Simon's High Velocity Cycling Club, One Piece Cycling, Dilly's Cycle World, among others. The boots were officially handed over during a formal presentation ceremony. Jamaica Cycling Federation First Vice President Kamar Jordan praised the Old Harbour-based club for the pivotal role it continues to play in the revival and development of cycling in Jamaica. Founded in 2021, Elevation Cycling Club has quickly established itself as one of the most successful cycling organizations on the island. The club currently boasts 3 national senior elite road champions, Barrington Bailey, Jerome Forrest, and Melvin McFarlane. Adding to its growing legacy is 19-year-old standout Jaquan Dixon, a 3-time national junior champion and the reigning national under-23 title holder. The donation is expected to ease equipment challenges faced by emerging cyclists and clubs while further strengthening development efforts aimed at growing the sport at all levels across Jamaica. I'm Alex Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth. That's the Talk Up Youth radio show. Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, we like to hear from you, and I'm gonna give a little disclaimer, a little warning to our YouTubers to be nice. Okay, all right. So in Public Opinion today, we're asking you about the year that passed, 2025. What a year it was indeed, especially for our politicians. I mean, we had a general election on September 3. The outcome of that, of course, we all know. But we've seen in Parliament several banters, the back and forth, and we've been observing our politicians, yes, both on the political platform and inside the Houses of Representatives. So our question to you, based on your observations over the past year or so, just the year 2025, how would you rank, or who rather would you rank as the best opposition politician of 2025? Now, I am going to add that next week, Friday, we will be doing the very same, asking you who would you rank as the best government member of 2025. So, let's get to the comments on our X platform. I'll start there because I'm only seeing one from Don Messi. And he says none in bold capital letters. On our Instagram platform, Marshall is saying Nikisha Burchell is his best opposition politician for 2025. According to Faith is also saying Nikisha Burchell. Star is saying they are hardly seen and heard. I'm not sure about best, but Zulika Jess has been doing her thing. Hyatt Herman is saying 0. She does not have a best opposition politician. VES, Lisa Hanna, when she was there, but now nobody. Let me see if I can get in Shanique. How is this beneficial to anyone? That's a question. All right. Marshall is saying Isat Buchanan. Again, saying Isaac Buchanan. G Money, none of them. They are all reading from the same comrade card. Let me see if I can get D Bardley in. He says none of them on our Facebook platform. Facebook has a lot of comments. The question for this evening, who would you rank as the best opposition politician of 2025? 2025. Robert Ranger is questioning if Jamaica has an opposition. Okay. We all know they do, but I know what you're doing there, Robert Ranger. Jesse is saying, I must George post this question. George, you're being called out. Jesse is saying, because it is only him alone full of so much humor. I don't know what you mean by that, but all right. Carlisle is saying, LOL, what opposition? None coming from Hall Nemhard. Barbara Bailey, a toss-up between the Integrity Commission and the Gleaner. Wow, they went hard. Wow. Okay, Barbara. Philip is saying, I climbed up on the highest mountain. Look all around. There couldn't find nobody. Okay, I see what you're doing there. George Elliott is saying there is none among them that could be characterized as so. Clifton is saying Steve McGregor. Steve Runabout McGregor. Okay. Snap is saying L.A. Lewis. That's how bad. I did ask for the comments to be nice. Yvonne Godfrey is saying, I'm here rocking my brain trying to name one, but no. Okay. Kurt is saying it's a difficult task to give one edge over the other. Carlene James says all of them. Keisha Clark, absolutely none. They don't love Jamaica, she says. Not even one. Coming from John Thomas. Let me see. Michelle Bernard is saying Angela Brownberg. She got a new... Okay, Angela Brownberg. All of them are the best, says Lennox. Okay, a lot of comments coming in. Audley Phillips says Lisa Hanna, who is no longer part of the opposition. Let me see. I don't know. It's real hard to find one. Anthony Shake says Andrew. Bennett says Damian Crawford. Melbu. Michael. Okay. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. Who would you rank as the best opposition politician of 2025? Come next week, we'll ask the same as it relates to government. Let me see if I can get in a few of the comments on our YouTube platform. I'm going to scroll to see if I can get in a few of those. Greetings to you, Donovan. Blessings to you. Not one coming from 55. Grace Price says none. I see somebody put Tova Hamilton, but Tova is not a part of the opposition. Let me see. None of them coming from Cheryl Hamilton. Okay. No. Donovan, what a comment from you. All right. Okay. Yes. I mean, over 2025, a lot happened, right? A lot happened. For me, I can downright say that Fitzjackson would be one for me. Fitzjackson would be characterized as the best opposition politician for 2025 for me. Yeah. Dale says, search all over, can't find nobody. Gertrude, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. JJ is saying Jess has been resolute in her representation, hardworking and very assertive. Yeah. Julian Robinson, he too could get it. Marcia, I do agree with you, Marcia, that Julian Robinson stands out also. He is the opposition on finance. Yes, he could get it. And Fitz is now the opposition on security. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Wise Emery. Fitz Jackson. Peter Phillips. Lisa Hanna says Winston. Okay. All right. I'm seeing a lot of names being called in the YouTube chat that are not members of the opposition. And I won't be calling those names. According to Marsha, none of them. So too, Josephine is saying not one of them. According to user is saying them only criticize. Okay. And Josephine says none. Betsy Powell, what you know about? Yes, Fitzjackson is my member of parliament. Julian Robinson missing in action. That's according to 52, 55. Let me see. Betsy Powell, I see what you did there. All right. A lot of comments coming in on this one. Not one of them, none of them. Nikisha Burchell. So the names that I've heard so far, Nikisha Burchell, Julian Robinson, and Fitz. Yeah? All right. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:33. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. The number of jobs created in the U.S. grew only modestly in December as a weak year for the employment market in the world's largest economy drew to a close. Employers added 50,000 jobs in the final month of 2025. That's according to Labor Department data, which was fewer than expected. But the unemployment rate dipped to 4.4%. Job gains last year were the smallest since 2020, when the COVID pandemic led to widespread cuts. Now, businesses have been operating in an environment marked by U.S. President Donald Trump's dramatic policy changes, including tariffs, an immigration crackdown, and cuts to government spending. The EU has reached a free trade agreement with Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay 25 years after talks began and despite opposition from farmers in several European countries. The deal with the trading bloc will require the approval of the European Parliament within the next months. It comes against the backdrop of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on countries around the world and his recent military intervention in Venezuela. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 63 cents to buy $1 US, 212 Jamaican dollars and 72 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 114 Jamaican dollars and 35 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
This Christmas, choose life. As we recover from Hurricane Melissa's devastation, we're reminded that life is fragile. Pedestrians, stay alert. Drivers, slow down. Rest if you're tired, and never drink and drive. One careless decision can change a family forever. Let's have a safe and prayerful Christmas and a crash-free 2026.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Loan vibes, loan laughs, and loan entertainment. Come on the road with me. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome the Shell Boss, I'm gonna make your bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tune. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
Not a mercy.
This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking it.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Back with you on Nationwide at 5. It's time now for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Professor Donna Hope.
And we're talking matters of tourism because the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, and the Jamaica Food and Drink Festival are joining forces this year to co-deliver the annual Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. This to help reignite tourism and reaffirm Jamaica's openness for business in the wake of Hurricane Melissa.
Visitors are set to experience creative fusions across food, mixology, wellness, and cultural expression, showcasing innovation throughout the Jamaican value chain. The collaboration is set to showcase the very best of Jamaica's food, drink, culture, and vibe on Saturday, March 7 at Hope Gardens.
Now, visitors from across Jamaica and overseas are expected to engage a curated marketplace featuring chefs, food trucks, artisans, restaurants, caterers, and premium Blue Mountain coffee activations served hot, cold, and infused across innovative culinary formats. The festival also seeks to advance Jamaica's local first policy direction by keeping more tourism value in Jamaican hands and strengthening the link between tourism demand and local farmers, manufacturers, artisans, and culinary talent.
The Jamaica Food and Drink Festival 2026 will take place from March 5 to 8 in Kingston. Joining us to discuss further is the Minister of Tourism, Edmund Bartlett. Good evening, Minister Bartlett. Welcome to the program. Good evening.
Minister.
Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Ricardo. Thank you both for having me, and Happy New Year to you all in Jamaica.
And
Happy New Year to you, Minister, and to, of course, your team at the ministry and across the associated entities. And it sounds as if we are looking forward to a wonderful festival this year. The Blue Mountain Coffee Festival and the Jamaica Food and Drink Festival joining together to give us a whopping showcase of culinary expertise and all the other associated areas. Can you tell us, because it's being positioned, we see as a signal that Jamaica is open for business after Hurricane Melissa. Why was this particular festival chosen as part of that kind of recovery message?
Firstly, the essence of tourism for us is experiences. And that's what we sell, that's what we market. And to the extent that we can say to the world that your premium experiences are here and they are back, and back in a form that is even more exciting and more alluring and more satisfying, then the statement is made that the reopening is for real. So having all our festivals back on track, having all our attractions back on track, having our rooms back on track, having all the wonderful stories that we tell about the beautiful Jamaica that God has provided us with, and to re-emphasize our geophysical endowment are all part of the confidence that we say to the world there is in Jamaica and in our readiness to receive them.
The Jamaica Local First policy direction, help us understand how the Food and Drink Festival, from your perspective, fits into that.
Well, you, in your opening comment, you catalog a whole series of moving parts that have to come together to create this festival. The number of entrepreneurs who are going to be involved in that, the number of creatives that are going to be involved in that, the number of many experiences that have to coalesce and to create that confluence that is necessary to finally give you the outcome. And that tells the story, because at every point in those activations, it's a dollar value, and it's a price, and it's a return on investment to the creatives. So this is what it is. The local people becoming inserted in the value chain of tourism. And there is no better expression of that at this time than a festival, which has to bring so many different activations together, so many different skill sets together, so many layers of economic activity have to converge to finally present a product that is satisfying to us all. And that's the essence of Local First. It's about enabling our Jamaican people to be fully inserted in the value chain of tourism and to provide the supplies that are needed to satisfy the consumption patterns of our visitors.
Minister, we're saying and seeking as a country to send the signal Jamaica is open for business, yeah? But obviously we're just coming out of a serious shock. How would you categorize the recovery, what is it now, 3 months on, 2 months on, from Melissa?
Well, I think the recovery, and forgive me, has been spectacular. Spectacular from two critical angles. One, the resilience that the Jamaican people have shown and the extent to which we have been able to coalesce around a common goal of bringing back the basic services that are required, the infrastructure that is needed to secure civilized and better living. So our water supplies were back. Our electricity supplies are essentially back. We're over 90% back in all of the areas at this time. And then our ports of call were all back. The airport in Montego Bay, the airport in Kingston, Ian Fleming, and St. Mary, and then our seaports for cruise. Falmouth is back, Montego Bay is back, Ocho Rios is back, Port Royal, Port Antonio. Now, these are some of the key touch points that signifies that the destination is back. And then the attractions, Duns River Falls is back, and all the other energy and adrenaline-driven adventures that we have across the island are back. Even Black River Safari is back. Wyeth Falls is also back. Treasure Beach is back. So we are saying that the destination is essentially ready for the world. We have a number of hotel rooms that are not back, yes, but we have over 70% of our inventory that is now active at this time. So for a destination such as ours, with the kind of integrity that we have in the promise that we make for a safe, secure, and seamless destination, yes, we're ready.
I hear you.
And kudos,
go ahead.
But Ricardo, kudos to your minister and the team across all the different areas in the sector for pulling together in this way to bring tourism, one of our main economic drivers, back on the front burner, because this is critical and important. And so we see that you have partnered with the TEF, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, for this particular festival. What does this type of partnership, the Blue Mountain, the Food and Drink Festival, the Jamaica Food and Drink Festival, and the Tourism Enhancement Fund, what will this partnership do? What will it do that makes it different from previous editions of the festival? What are the expectations that you have of it?
All right. So to begin with, the concept that we have of creating the linkages across the various sectors is one that is driven by a facilitatory mechanism that the TEF deals and puts together by policy. And we started out with our 5 networks. You remember gastronomy was number 1. So this is in the frame of the gastronomy network. So we work to develop new ideas and thereby to convert those ideas into products. Then when those products have reached a certain point, then we try to morph them into the private sector engagement. So we don't become entrepreneurs ourselves, but we seek to facilitate entrepreneurship and to find a way to partner with the private sector and then to wean back to the private sector these areas of activity and move on to new ones. So the partnership with Jamaica Food and Drink is about that, is enabling them to in time take over this project fully, and then we move on to give birth to some new ideas and projects to expand the experiences of the industry.
Minister, if I could just go back briefly to the matter of recovery. And I'm happy, as Prof said, to hear how significant that has been. But whenever we talk, Minister, I always have to advocate for the smaller players in the sector, because sometimes, the larger attractions, the larger properties, they get the spotlight. Has that recovery that you outlined been as even as it can be applied to the large players as well to the small ones?
Well, I tell you, the smallest partners have been recovering too, and as you know, we have facilities through the Exim Bank and also through the Jamaica National Small Business to enable some kind of credit facilitation to assist in their recovery. The government through the NDB has also been very responsive, and we're seeing a take-up now of some of our smaller players. But the good news overall is that 29% of our tourism arrivals go to these small players, particularly the new sharing economy element that is commonly referred to as Airbnb. So the villas and the smaller players are inserted in the process, and as a result of some of the larger properties being out of service for repairs now, they are beginning to see some support for their areas. So while there are still a number of small players who are struggling, and that we are very concerned about that, we also are noting that they are having a better time at this moment as a result of the current situation.
And Minister and Ricardo, in a related vein, Minister, can you give us some examples of how farmers, local farmers, the coffee producers, the artisans, and some of the small businesses will benefit from the festival that will take place in the first week of March?
Minister?
Do we have the minister?
No, it seems we've lost him.
Maybe we lost him also, but because I think, Ricardo, that's an important point that you're making in terms of not just at the end where the larger players are, but also the persons who are the smaller business people, the artisans, the persons on the ground. This particular festival will provide a lot of opportunities, and has done so in the past, and I just wanted the minister to expound a little on that. But the point you're raising is correct in that a lot of the small tourism operators, we also have to ensure and remember that they are brought into the picture where recovery is concerned, because they too have been harmed significantly by Hurricane Melissa and the fallout in tourism.
The minister is back, Prof. Go ahead.
So
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry we lost you for a minute there. But
Yes,
the
Minister.
question was, how do these key partners, the farmers and the ordinary
producers,
who are part of the coffee ecosystem, how do they feature in all of this? And this is really one of the main reasons, Prof. and Ricardo, that we had this festival, because it is an opportunity for showcasing not just the creatives in terms of our cultural experts, but also our farmers and the ordinary people who are involved in the various elements of the coffee value chain. And also to give expression to the derivatives of coffee, which a lot of people are not paying sufficient attention to, and how lucrative those can be. The nutraceutical values, the coffee scrubs and the coffee soaps and the coffee essence through perfumes and deodorants and then coffee candles, and we can go on and on and on. And that there are manufacturing areas too that are not being explored sufficiently, because we make coffee mats. We also have construction material that is made from coffee, garments that are made from coffee byproducts. I had a tie, a necktie that I bought in Dubai, interestingly, from coffee. Hats that we make from coffee. So there's so many areas, and we wanted to highlight that, not just now the baristas and the mixologists and so on, but we are seeing manufactured goods from the byproducts of coffee.
Yeah. If I could pick up on the point of the farmers, because as you outline, the sector is coming back and coming back strong. And then so I'm wondering about local production, especially agriculture produce, such that we can feed the demand. Any plans to ensure that that link remains strong?
Oh, well, for example, the Ministry of Agriculture and ourselves have partnered in many areas. We have also provided support by way of infrastructure help for farming communities, so that the farmers can have access also to their farms. Mm-hmm. In addition, we have been working with the cruise lines and hotels to see how we can have more of coffee products inserted in the supply side of our industry. We work with RADA to create a platform so as to enable direct connections between the suppliers and hotels. And I have good news in that regard, because last year, and by last year I mean 2024, because we've been able to calculate everything for 25, we had over $1 billion Jamaican dollars of trade between the farmers on that platform and hotels.
Mm-hmm.
And Ricardo and Minister, we are talking about the festival and of course the tourism sector with the kind of the specter of Hurricane Melissa floating around. So, Minister, what plans are the minister putting in place? What are some of the strategies that you have, broadly speaking, beyond the festival, to ensure what you have been talking about a lot, tourism resilience in the face of extreme weather events like Hurricane Melissa? What are some of the things that you are putting in place?
Well, firstly, I know you are aware, Professor Donna, that we do have the first of its kind in the region, and indeed it was the first in the world, a global tourism resilience sector at the University of the West Indies, that Professor Lloyd Waller is our executive director.
Definitely.
And what we do is to provide the basis for discourses on 5 critical areas of resilient building. One, to be able to foresee disruptions and different types of weather and seismic and all sorts of events which can upend tourism activity. And then to mitigate against it, to develop modules and tools to manage when it comes to recover quickly and to thrive thereafter. And on the basis of that, through the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Linkages Division in particular, we've been able to set up partnerships too with the private sector, and out of that came almost what we call now a permanent recovery task force. Coming out of COVID was a great example of the resilience that we were able to build, and also the tools that we were able to generate, which strengthen our ability to respond quickly and well to disruptions. Yes. Then come Melissa, and we were able to reactivate that recovery task force immediately. And the good news is that as a result, within 8 weeks, as I said, we were able to record 450,000 visitors and earn $474 million for Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So the matter of building capacity is at the heart of our program, to make sure that our young people, through the education program, we have a course at the high schools in Jamaica for a diploma in hotel management and customer service. And within that frame, the curriculum includes building resilience and enablement to deal with disruptions of this sort. So we are going beyond that. We got the UN to declare February 17th as Global Tourism Resilience Day, which is now being celebrated all over the world. And on the 17th of February this year, we will be going to Nairobi, where at the University of the Kenyatta University, we formed the first satellite center for the Global Resilience Center. And they will be hosting the World Observation of Global Tourism Resilience Day. So all over the world now, people are far more alert and sensitized, because they are seeing that our industry is vulnerable, and we are the first to be impacted when these disruptions happen. But we are also the first to recover.
Yeah.
And that's the power of tourism.
And as I finally, Minister, as I heard you talking about vulnerability and the need to build capacity, and acknowledging that we are vulnerable, as a tourism minister, how worried are you about the potential for future climate shocks and how that will affect and possibly reshape the sector going forward?
Worried is probably not the word, Ricardo, but we are conscious of the need for us to be ready and prepared, because we are going to have more disruptions, and perhaps more severe disruptions. The Cat 5 Plus that we just had in Jamaica is unprecedented.
Yes.
And we are seeing more earthquakes all over the world now with intensity unprecedented too. And there are going to be more. We have other disruptions, geopolitical disruptions, as we are seeing in our space now, for example. So the concern is real. The worry is not there because you don't worry. You acquit yourselves, you go out there, you create new ideas, you begin discourses that will enable you to generate the kind of nimbleness of thought and action that will anticipate these disruptions and be responsive to it.
Yeah. Ed Bartlett is the country's hardworking Minister of Tourism. Not worried, but certainly being proactive, he says, in ensuring that our sector is resilient and ready for any future shocks. Thank you as always, Minister. Appreciate your time.
Bless you.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All
yes,
right.
Indeed.
We're up on the break now. Take the break. Come back with more. Yes, but we're not no.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
None of mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Four minutes after 7, we're back with you on Nationwide at 5. Let's head to Trinidad and Tobago, where their energy minister, Dr. Rudal Monilal, says the country's energy arrangements with Venezuela remain unchanged despite the ongoing political and military developments. The United States recently invaded the South American country, capturing its president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife, Celia, in the process. At a post-cabinet media briefing on Thursday, Dr. Monilal reaffirmed that the government continues to operate under existing agreements and authorizations.
He says there's no indication any have been cancelled or altered. He's rejected claims that cross-border energy deals have been jeopardized by the crisis in Venezuela. The minister also confirmed that a U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, license regarding to the Dragon Gas project remains in effect, thus allowing continued activity on these conditions, despite Venezuela's October 2025 announcement that it had suspended cooperation and would move to revoke approvals related to the project. The Dragon gas field located off Venezuela's coast has long been a key part of Trinidad and Tobago's plans to boost gas supplies for liquefied natural gas LNG production.
A specific OFAC license issued in 2023 permitted Trinidad and Tobago, the national gas company, and Shell to pursue exploration, production, and export activities under conditions that comply with U.S. sanctions. Despite Venezuela's public claim last year of cancelling energy ties, Dr. Monilal maintained that formal notifications altering agreements have not been received and that cooperative work continues with Venezuelan counterparts. Trinidad's Energy Minister, Dr. Monilal, joins us now. Good evening, Dr. Monilal. Happy New Year to you, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, good evening. Happy New Year to you and all your listeners and your staff. It's a great pleasure for me to speak to the beautiful people of Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean this evening. So greetings from Trinidad and Tobago to all of you, and thank you for this kind invitation.
And we're very happy to have you.
Welcome, Dr. Monilal. Yes, indeed. Please go ahead, Ricardo.
Let me ask you, Doc, considering the instability, what gives you confidence that this agreement remains intact?
Well, as I said yesterday, the arrangements with Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago are not new. In fact, just for the record, it was since 1990 that Trinidad and Tobago began some type of relationship with Venezuela on the energy front. Incidentally, in the old days of refining, we also imported some crude oil from Venezuela for our domestic refining purposes. We have had a long history of working and collaboration in terms of agreements, and certainly on the political, cultural, diplomatic field, we have had engagements. Over the recent past, and I mean over the last 20 years or so, we have had no commercial relationships with Venezuela, but several agreements for generally cross-border and one across-the-border project. Those have been, several governments over time have worked on that, including our former People's Partnership Administration 2010-2015. And we have had, as I said, agreements and so on. Notwithstanding the uncertainty over the last few years and the clear political issues that emerged and the changing role of various actors, we have had agreements in place. And again, notwithstanding statements made, by the former leader, Mr. Maduro, and others, we have had no formal official notification of any change or alteration to our arrangements. Those arrangements, as you indicated earlier, involve other stakeholders, primarily Shell, and in another case, BP. And those entities continue to engage and work pursuant to two bodies of law, our agreements with Caracas, and of course, as you also hinted, our OFAC license. When we came into office last April, the Dragon Gas, which is on the northwest of Trinidad, the island of Trinidad, in the Venezuelan maritime territory. In fact, it's very important that your listeners know that the Dragon Gas is not a cross-border project. It actually is completely in Venezuelan maritime space. Yes. And there was a license for that granted, I believe, in 2022-23, around there. That was revoked prior to our return to office. We were able to work very, very hard, and Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Prime Minister herself, advocated and met several of the important players in Washington and elsewhere. And we were able to secure a new license to conduct all transactions and negotiations on that matter. When the recent disturbance came to the forefront, so to speak, there were some threats and some statements made. We have always been in touch with our diplomatic missions in Caracas. We have a mission there. We also have, of course, a Venezuelan mission in Port of Spain. We have been in touch at all times. Our Ministry of Energy has been in touch with, the relevant officials, and there has been no change or alteration to that. So, in that context, we continue to work on those cross-border projects. There are two, incidentally, on the south, just to get the geography, on the south, east coast of Trinidad. There are also two cross-border fields that involve the international players of Shell and BP.
So, and just a moment, Ricardo, because Dr. Munilal is speaking a lot about the license and the return to the license after suspension for a period of time. But can you clarify for us, for the listeners, for myself as well, that U.S. OFAC license for the Dragon Gas project you're saying remains in effect? What are the actual activities that are allowed under that license, and are those activities continuing without interruption? Because since you have said clearly that that area is actually in Venezuelan maritime territory, and I kind of have a vague idea of the geography, having been to both areas. What are the activities that are allowed or allowable under that license, and are they continuing or have they been continuing without interruption in the political unstable climate that we are seeing right now in the region?
Well, our information from the entities involved suggests to us that the license, incidentally, the license was a 6-month license. The Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, Senator John Jeremy, spoke to this in the public domain. It was a 6-month license that expires in April this year, and it allows for the conduct of all transactions and negotiations between the players, the 3 players involved primarily, Shell, the Venezuelan government, and Trinidad and Tobago's national gas company. And they have continued work in terms of the project itself and all negotiations, transactions, and so on. That work has continued. I am also instructed that while we did have a 6-month hiatus, so to speak, when we had no license, I'm told that given what we have been doing and the participation of all stakeholders, that we are not really terribly out of our initial timing for that project. In the aftermath of the departure of Mr. Maduro, which was quite recently, we continue to monitor that project. As you all know, is now public that the United States government has met and will continue to meet with what we call the oil majors, that include Shell, incidentally, and they will continue to negotiate with Washington. We continue to work with Shell. Our officials at a lower level continue to engage with the correspondent officials in Port of Spain, at Houston, and of course in Caracas. While developments, they are fluid, and we are keeping a very calm and monitoring approach. We calmly monitor, so to speak, developments across our border. We are confident that the Dragon Gas project will be proceeding, and we are also optimistic that we can proceed with the 2 cross-border southeast projects, which is called Manikin Coquina and Lauren Manatee. So we are confident that these 3 projects together would be pursued, and that has serious implications for an economic revival in Trinidad and Tobago in terms of the gas supply to our downstream petrochemical sector, and as you said, to the Atlantic LNG installation.
Considering that the U.S. President has made it clear that the matter of energy, the matter of the black gold oil, is one of the key things driving his move to oust Nicolas Maduro, what gives you confidence that Trinidad's interests are secured if he's made it so plain that he intends to prioritize maximum extraction for the United States above all else?
Well, there are 2 issues really. It was the Trump administration, as you know, that quite recently, I believe in October, just a couple of months ago, it is the actual Trump administration through the Treasury Department and, of course, the work of Secretary of State Marco Rubio. It is the Trump administration that granted the new OFAC license for the Dragon Field negotiations transaction. So in terms of the approach has been very positive vis-a-vis our national energy interests. And secondly, as I said earlier, that Trinidad and Tobago, notwithstanding its proximity to Venezuela, we really have had no great commercial relationship with Venezuela vis-a-vis oil. In fact, the last time I'm told that we had any trading or any commercial arrangements, it would have been about 35 years ago. So we really have not. That's a surprise people find difficult to swallow at first. Is that as of now, as I said, we do not make $1 single from Venezuela vis-a-vis energy. So really, we have, in terms of the oil industry and the proximity, there has been no trading relationship and so on. So effectively, there's nothing to lose. In fact, Trinidad and Tobago, as you know, have imported oil for refining from Nigeria and other countries over the years. But we have had no trading relationships on that, so that the United States concentration on developing the infrastructure and using their leverage, as they say, of the quarantine for the people of Venezuela is supported by the Trinidad and Tobago government. And that doesn't affect us really because we have had no oil trade in effect for over 35 years or so. What we have as an interest as represented by the agreements is really an interest in the gas development. And as you also know, Venezuela has not really been a pioneer of gas-to-shore energy development.
Yeah.
So in a way, Trinidad and Tobago has a lone strategic interest, which I believe we will exercise maximum energy diplomacy to ensure that our lone energy interest of really cross-border gas fields that is pursued in collaboration with the United States administration that we supported, and the Prime Minister has, as you know, has taken a very bold and courageous approach over the last few months in her support for the United States action as it relates to narco trafficking, human trafficking, and the crippling effect that have had on Trinidad and Tobago and elsewhere, but I focus on Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, I will just tell you in passing, it is not my domain, but we did have in this country just recently, we got the statistics, a 42% decline in the homicide rate over the last year, and I think a 70% decline in gang-related activity. Again, it's not my area to speak about, but we believe that something good is happening in terms of our combating the drug trafficking and arms trafficking routine in the Caribbean, of which the United States is now leading the charge, and for which Trinidad and Tobago support. So when you put that into the mix, where I can talk about is that we will leverage, of course, our relationship with the United States, as all countries do. We will leverage that in our discussions with Caracas and Venezuela, and with our international partners, primarily at this time, BP and Shell, to ensure that we advance our gas-based energy security interests. And that is something I'm confident that we can do, so if only because at this time we are really the lone player with this big interest in the extraction of natural gas and the transmission of that gas to an installation, believe it or not, that is just 20 kilometers off the Dragon field. So we believe that we are in prime position. Speaking from an energy standpoint, we're in prime position to extract, to market, and to monetize to the benefit of all partners, incidentally, including Venezuela. We're in a position to monetize that resource.
Dr. Mooninal, as a regional leader, a member, senior member of a cabinet, seeing your neighbor invaded by the United States, its president taken by force in the dead of night, why aren't you concerned about that threat, the threat it represents to this entire region?
Well, Ricardo, let me begin by saying that I prefer not to address matters of politics, geopolitical issues, and certainly not foreign affairs issues. The Honorable Sean Sobers in Trinidad and Tobago and the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and law enforcement ministers will speak on international relations, will speak on the geopolitical hemispheric issues. I stay away from that and focus specifically on energy. And I prefer to, restrain my comments to the energy developments that take place in the Caribbean as a whole. As you know, we are also involved now with Suriname, Guyana. There is a growing interest in Grenada, I can tell you, and maybe a longer-term interest, believe it or not, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So the Caribbean is becoming a very significant global energy basin. And I think in the context of that, we have a very bright future in the Caribbean as a whole, but the Southern Caribbean as well. In terms of your pivotal primary question, as the Secretary of State indicated, to the American perspective, it is a law enforcement issue with the indicted persons, and I prefer not to dwell too much on that, but on the energy matters respectfully.
The diplomacy I expected. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mooninal. And all the best with your Dr. Mooninal, all the best with your plans for the energy sector. And we hope that the plans stay intact and do not disappear in the middle of the night and being abducted elsewhere. I really hope that
our party symbol is the rising. Our party symbol is the rising sun. So we believe in a great new dawn by definition. Regardless of the dead of the night, the rising sun will come in the morning, as it did. So we believe in a great day.
I hope you're right, Dr. Rudal Munalal, the Minister of Energy.
God is great, and our faith and our work will see us through. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Munalal, take good care of yourself. All the best. Indeed, Ricardo. Indeed.
Dr. Rudal Munalal, the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries in Trinidad and Tobago, taking the easy cop out. He's not the foreign minister, so he won't speak on geopolitical issues. We're up on another break. After the break, we'll tell you what's happening in Iran.
On October 28, 2025, Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica. But your government is mobilizing, reaching every community, delivering relief, and rebuilding together. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 23 minutes after 7.
It's undeniable that we should be together.
The true beauty of music is that it connects people. It carries a message. It speaks to you. It changes you. And that's exactly what we do just for you every Sunday as we take you to Urban Paradise, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Urban Paradise is our weekly musical journey that will serve up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
You're like a dream come true. Just wanna be with you.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come unwind with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
"25 minutes after 7, Chris Mullings on YouTube says, wow, the program is full this evening with a lot of regional and international stories. Yes.
Yes. We're doing our best, Ricardo.
Miss Dana Davis says we must have it all. And so we move from Trinidad to Iran, where European leaders urged the country late Friday to allow its citizens to demonstrate without reprisal. This after Tehran signaled security forces would crack down on the protesters whom U.S. President Donald Trump has pledged to support. At least 62 people have been killed in the protests that began in late December over Iran's failing economy.
It has morphed into the most significant challenge to the government in years. Iran's supreme leader dismissed Trump as having hands stained with the blood of Iranians as his supporters shouted "Death to America" in footage aired by the Iranian state television. Trump has repeatedly pledged to strike Iran if the protesters are killed. We are going to hear more from Sky News in this report.
This is not a protest. It's a revolt. A rebellion aimed at the clerics who run the Iranian regime. In the cities, in the provincial districts, millions of people have taken to the streets, united around one momentous idea: the destruction of the Islamic Republic and the removal of its leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Death to the dictator, death to the dictator, they shout. Symbols of the state have been defaced or set on fire, it seems many have lost their fear of the regime. The protests began here in the capital, Tehran, when shopkeepers or bazaris went on strike. The economy's in free fall, the currencies collapsed, the price of basic staples skyrocketing. But there's more to this than bread or rice. People are disillusioned with the ruling class.
They're fed up with them because they failed to give them, anything that you would expect of a government. It's actually quite remarkable if you think about it. This is a government that represses people, doesn't let them to listen to the music they don't like, but a highly sophisticated, urban, modern, Iranian society has to face a regime that sort of does this daily humiliation.
State media has acknowledged the protests, but their narrative is different. A small number of anti-revolutionaries working for hostile states. Why did they destroy our mosque, he says. This, the only source of information now. The internet and telephones have been cut. And the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, well, he issued a call to arms. The protesters are mercenaries, in league with Donald Trump, he said. The revolution would be defended from these terrorists. His remarks followed by chants of death to America. It seems a major confrontation is on the way. Some of the biggest demonstrations have taken place here in Mashhad, the city of Khamenei's birth. But the supreme leader is losing patience. Members of the regime are calling for a major crackdown. The protesters are waging war on God.
People in different layers would need to ask themselves, do they want to do this for Khamenei? Do they want to die more, kill more, do this more for a 86-year-old guy who's going to die soon at some point, and they'll have to live with this?
The status quo is not sustainable. The people of Iran have withdrawn their consent, but the ruling class will not give up willingly. A battle of will and brute force awaits. John Sparks, Sky News.
That report there from Sky News. So much trouble in the world here. In our neck of the woods, trouble. In the United States, there's trouble. In Europe, there's trouble. Russia, Ukraine, there's trouble. And now
there's trouble on the continent as well, the African continent.
Absolutely. And now
what
Iran
I
showing
find
signs of trouble. Yes,
what I find interesting, Ricardo, is that you have the Iranian protesters, based on what had been allowed out before the blackout, chanting, asking Donald Trump to come and rescue them because of his strong stance and his move against Venezuela. So they see him as a man of action and a man of his word. So very interesting movements in Iran there, and definitely turmoil. Hand-over-hand turmoil, and over 62 people dead upon the last report that we were able to get out, with the media blackout and the internet blackout and all that is happening in Iran. Troubling times.
The dark time, my love. That's the name of the poem, yeah?
Yes, this is the dark time, my love.
7:30, you know what time it is. It's time for you to have your say. The numbers, you know them very well by now. 876-630-9371 to 4. 876-618-6730. Final leg of Hopeful Friday.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
Alric, you're up first. Good evening.
Good evening, Alric.
Evening, Prof. Happy New Year, Prof. I've spoken to Ricardo already.
Oh, Happy New Year. Yeah, we haven't spoken since the year began. Happy New Year. All the best.
Ricardo, yes. I wish you all the best. Ricardo. You follow cricket?
No.
Prof, you follow cricket?
I stopped that thing a while back. No.
All right, but I don't believe you stopped when Courtney Walsh was playing.
I had been trickling down. But tell us what you're talking about. Yes.
That energy minister had that leave alone outside the ass stump with more flourish than Courtney Walsh when Ricardo bowled him that one.
I was sitting here, Alric, and I'm saying I am holding my mouth tightly because honestly, Ricardo threw the curveball. So I was because everybody is bobbing and weaving and sighting and curving in this timeline, but yes.
Good try, Ricardo.
Ricardo, you know the man was you know him was going to sight it, but you tried.
Yeah, you tried.
Yes.
Ricardo. You know, sometimes I get the feeling between you and Pro that this country is gonna have a hard time to reach where we are supposed to reach. I listen to you and Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
And there are a couple of people.
By the way, I thought that was a very good discussion.
Yes, and we have to thank Fitz Jackson. We're having him back. We're getting him back already.
Yes, but something that got to me about what he said. There are a couple of people in the politics who you love to listen to them because they come across as being fair and understanding is what's going on. But when Mr. Jackson is gonna beat around a little bit about the crime thing, I want to put it away that you have diehard people in the party that listen to what their leaders say. And I can remember distinctly Senator Bunting had said that in not giving the government no marks to what is happening to the crime reduction. And Mr. Jackson is not upping too far away from that. And
no, I don't agree with that, Alric. Because I think he several times acknowledged the reduction in murders, several times acknowledged that it's something that should be celebrated and welcomed. Several times he did that.
He did.
Yes, I heard that. That's why I'm saying it's not upping too far away. I agree with him on the point of the body cam. But what I don't know, what I want to ask you on Trump, with getting the cams in and the procurement and so, he's saying, because I tried to bring it up the other day, that there are ways that they could have done it a long time ago. Is that look like it was possible to you guys?
Yeah, well, so yeah, I'm not sure I was convinced by that argument, that it's simply a matter of just prioritizing procurement, because I think I recall an interview with the commissioner gave to George and Turner, And I think he was at pains to explain not only the procurement, but the technical aspects of what needed to be procured.
Yes.
And the difficulties there. So I'm not sure I agree with Fitz on that score.
And one thing I'd add to that, Alric, because this discussion had been resurfacing since we got this figure. There's also, I was reading a discussion about what it took and how long it took for the New York Police Department to get itself fully equipped with these cameras. The amount of money it costs, because it's a very expensive undertaking in US dollars, as well as the technical infrastructure that has to be put in place and maintained for these cameras to be for what is being recorded on the cameras to come back to some base somewhere and be pulled down and archived. It's not just police where the camera and it's recorded on the camera, it has to go somewhere.
There's a whole digital infrastructure.
There's a whole digital infrastructure that will have to be built out, a lot of people to be employed, money to build it out, and the networks to manage and maintain it, and to record and archive the data and keep it in a way that it can be retrieved for you. So there's a whole infrastructure that is going to have to be put in place. So it won't be overnight. So I think people think that if you get the cameras and you juke them on the police, that's it. But there's a great deal more, and I think that is what the ministry, as well as the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the commissioner, have been trying to put into the mix and telling us what it will need for the entire infrastructure to be in place. So I get the impression that there's a lot of information that needs to be clarified. So we are fully on board with what really is holding it back from this move forward.
I rest my case, bro. That is why I would like to ask you guys to ask the Minister of Justice, Dr. Horace Chang, and the Commissioner to come and to spell out the whole process that it will take to get it. Because listening to what Trump just said, it's not gonna be done overnight, because people will take what our ministers and our members of parliament say as gospel and will go away thinking that the government does not really want to get the cameras in.
All right, Alric, hear you.
All right, thank you for that. Indeed.
630-937-124-618-6730. Bobby,
happy Friday.
Yes, thanks, and same to you, and good evening again. Boy, I'm so disheartened to hear what is going on now in Iran. You know, I know in the Anglican Church every Sunday we pray for peace in the Middle East, and we name out the countries and so on. But right now, only a divine intervention can stretch over there and let peace prevail. So we have to continue praying. And you know, and I am saying what happened to Nicolas Maduro, it will send a wake-up call to all the rest of the world leaders. Said, hey, look here, just come to one with the people and treat your people right. Don't have your people under siege, because the moment you do that, somebody's coming after you, right? And I think Nicolas Maduro didn't realize that our next guest was coming for him, right? Not to say I really agree with, you know, the extraction of he and his wife in the wee hours of the morning, but when you are a leader, you have to come as one family with the leader, with the people in the nation that you lead. And the last thing that I want to talk about, I want to say to the Commissioner of Police, yes, congrats on the reduction in crime and so on, and also to the Security Minister and the Honest Administration. But I'm putting out a proposal to him, like how you have that crime monster under control. Put more manpower on our nation roads. You know, it is so disheartening to see the type of driving, the type of recklessness that is taking place now on our nation roads, especially with some of those bike guys who ride those bike as suiciders.
So Bobby, when you say put more manpower, what they're going to do? Stand up in the middle of the road and stop these bad people who are hell-bent on killing themselves and taking others with them?
No.
What you want them to do? Tell me.
No. What I observe, you see, when the police is on the road, you see good driving, good behavior on the road. And you see, as soon as they pass the police and they go further down the road, the craziness starts. One time, I visited Cuba, and we land at a airport in Cuba named the Ozamati Airport. It is a large airport, and we had to travel, like, for example, we travel from the airport. Check, for example, say the airport is at Norman Manley. We have to travel to Montego Bay to the hotel. And every corner we turn, there is a police. If we pass 2 police up the road, rest assured, is when we pass just a couple chains down and I look back in the taxi. I saw 2 more standing up at a very strategic location. You are coming, you can't even see them. It's only when you pass, you see them. And other is on the road over there. So we need more of them, man, to line out the street. Too much craziness, man. Right? So those are the stuff I would like to put to the head of the security force tonight. That this is something he can look into. Okay?
All right, Bobby.
All right, Bobby. Thanks for that one. Thanks
Bobby,
indeed,
Bobby. Don't hang up here. Hold for the producer.
Okay, then. Good.
All right.
Hold on. Yes.
William, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Prof.
Good evening, William. Good to hear from you. Yes.
And give thanks. Yeah, earlier you was interviewing Mr. Jackson. Earlier?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, but he said something where me personally 100% agree with him. When him say people are afraid of the police, I think there's something else behind that. Because my belief, if you walk straight and operate straight, I don't think you should be afraid of the police. Because I walk through town from my head and my knee. And I not run from police. I'm glad when me see them around me. So I don't know why people are afraid of police. Something must be behind why they have to be afraid of the police. What is about that?
Well, Bobby, William, sorry, you have different people who have different experiences, or in their communities, they see different things happening, so they tell you a lot of different stories about why they're afraid of police. But a lot of us were raised in communities where the community policing is very strong, and building the bonding with the security forces in terms of their protecting and serving was very strong. So different people like yourself, myself, and others may have a different vibe when we see a police officer or a set of police officers approaching. So it's something that we have to work on it, and the community policing is probably a good way to work on that. But some people do have a fear of the police. That is true. Some people, not everyone.
I understand, but that's what I say. In my experience, there's other things behind what those things now come to light. Anyhow, we leave that aside. We are the alleged that the whole is police inspector, but they say alleged that the whole with substance like cocaine. Where they say Kingston, they will live in Kingston 4. There's not Kingston 4, that is Kingston 5.
Okay.
Okay.
The only way, unless the police boundary is different from the political boundary. But we are more treated in Kingston 5.
Okay.
Kingston, Woolford Street, part the 2 area between Kingston 5 and Kingston 4. Right at the stoplight that's between South Camp Road and Camp Road. Right. Kingston 4 stop right there.
Okay, so you're saying they kind of hold them on the borderline between 4 and 5. So also it's more on the 5 side.
Well, I only on the borderline. They're exactly in Kingston 5.
Okay.
Because if you listen, they say they bring him to the Afferty, and if it's Kingston 4, they would bring him to Central. Because Central is responsible right up in a Kingston 4. and for responsible and Cross was responsible for Kingston 5. And time to time, because a few times when we speak about the income problem we have, where we cannot get some good explanation from Indicom when shooting by the police. Under what circumstance these persons were shot. We cannot get it off and say, well, 25 people dead by the police and it is too much. We the citizens want to know how them been killed. If the police stepping over the line or they operate in the law.
But William, in the communities, they do those investigations. I mean, I agree with you that, it might be desirable for them to be faster, but they are doing those investigations.
Well,
and then they report on them.
Yes, they do.
Well, one next time when I report that I like hear it personal for myself, that me can clear my mind. But when me do listen them, based upon me listen, even to the director, many times come out and tell you amount of people shot, and he say it is too much. And you have a lot of other groups saying the same thing too. And at the same time when they repeat this, I think he's supposed to tell us how this person get shot. Under what circumstances when they done them investigation. We're not hearing that, Mr. Brooks.
All right, William.
All right,
I'll make
thanks,
sure.
William.
I'll make sure that when we get the next report,
Right.
I'll put it in the news file.
Right, and if me hear, as I explain to you, I can call and tell you, say, this is what me hear XY, what time or whatsoever.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Thanks for the call.
Indeed.
630-937-124-618-6730 East Central. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Ricardo.
Good evening.
Mr. Ricardo, good evening to the next host, please.
Professor Donna Hope.
Good evening, East Central, yes.
Good evening, Miss Hope. I just come up on the show and remember that we are blind over here. Otherwise, from the YouTube, and I come up for the YouTube about an hour ago. So I just come on back and say, let me call and big up the JPS workers that are now working in Goodwill, in Chatham Content and Goodwill. As we speak now, they are out by the roadside trying to get the electricity restore back to the community between Adelphi, Chatham, and Content as we speak now. So let's give them a plus, because I know that today when I passed, there was no line. There was only diggings of poles. I think there's big 1, 2, 3, 7 poles between Chatham to Goodwill. And I just passed back 5 minutes ago, and I could have demonstrated all the lines were up. But as I speak now, as I can stand in the geographical area where I'm in Chatham, and I can look out by the roadside now to see the other lights are on and they are still working. So I wanted to give them a thumbs up in relation to all the good work what they are now doing at this time of night.
All right, that's
All
good.
right. Thanks for that positive vibes, East Central. Positive vibes. Respect. Yes.
Mr. Ricardo, I wanted to look at another area of concern where I hear the backlog, as in reducing backlog in the justice system. The backlog hasn't been reduced in terms of the numbers. I remember when Justice Sykes was coming into the system, he had gave a timeline between 3 to 5 to 6 years, the backlog will be reducing. I know that the backlog is still a burden under some areas of concern where we look at the Section 42 of the Criminal Justice Administration at the guilty plea, and I couldn't see where a guilty plea fits in a mandatory minimum sentence, because when we look at the guilty pleas, whether you plead guilty, when it comes to the mandatory minimum, you won't be getting any discount sentence. So that is a troublesome area, not wanted. Most time I know that they wanted the backlog to release in terms of early plea deal, and it brings the discount. But when someone look and say, all right, then let me see if I can take my chances. And in terms of taking the chances, you might have people migrate, as in witness, people meet accident, all the different factors. So it's a troublesome situation. Did you look at it from your point of view?
I would have to look at it. I have not looked at it to form an opinion, so I'd have to look at it.
Something we have to look back at, yes.
Okay, but looking at another area of concern.
But
where
before you go to the other area of concern, you had promised me something way back when I used to be on the morning program.
I did promise you something.
Yes, you promised me that you would consider studying law. Did you? Did you move forward with that?
I never make a step forward, no, Mr. Ricardo, but I hopefully wanted to make a progressive step, just like Mr. Said had advanced and excel in so many areas.
You should absolutely do it, East Central.
Yes, he should. I remember writing a message to Cliff one morning, listening to him talking to Cliff that East Central would make an excellent journalist or a lawyer. I remember that. Political, yes, I remember that. You should East Central, you have to move ahead by your potential. Don't make it stay there and hide it under anything.
You clearly have a natural inclination for it, so you should.
Yes.
You should.
Okay.
Yes. Come up for you, man. Or come up to the university, man. I'm up there. No, it's a serious thing, man. I remember messaging Cliff about East Central and saying, this man, you should.
All right.
Blessed Marcia Favor is saying that you could probably think of starting as a paralegal, which is fair.
Well, yes, but I know that. Last night on the JCF now, I tried to pose a question. It did pose. I did get an answer, but it was too much of area of concern if I did add two more follow-up questions. So I just congratulate the JCF for continue to protecting us, and they should always remain reducing the numbers of homicide. But there was so many areas of concern, but I wish not to speak on those areas still. But thanks, Mr. Ricardo, and thanks, Miss O.
Have a good one, East Central.
Take care of yourself, and I look forward to hearing more about you. Yes, Ricardo, you have to encourage. No, it's a serious business, man.
No, he's good at it.
He's very good at it. Analytical, and he has the facts, and he's doing the looking at the policy documents, and that's serious dedication. And yes.
Who's next?
Big up. The dark time. This is the dark time, my love.
It is.
Because they made me go and look for Martin Carter's poem, and I'm looking at the poem. Who we have? I'm reading the poem.
No, go ahead, read it. Read it.
This is the dark time, my love. All around the land, brown beetles crawl about. The shining sun is hidden in the sky. Red flowers bend their heads in awful sorrow. This is the dark time, my love. It is the season of oppression, dark metal, and tears. It is a festival of guns, the carnival of misery. Everywhere the faces of men are strained and anxious. Who comes walking in the dark night time? Whose boots of steel tramps down the slender grass? It is the man of death, my love, the strange invader, watching you sleep and aiming at your dream. We live in Jamaica. We're going to stay on the bright side. And this is, remember, Martin Carter is a Guyanese poet, yes? Who wrote quite a bit, very popular in the 20th century. And a lot of us, Ricardo, went to school and we had to learn this poem. And we had to read it. This is the dark time, my love.
The festival of guns and the carnival of?
Sorrows. Misery. It's a carnival of misery. Yeah. It's a difficult time. And I think a lot of what we have been talking about for today, as well as during the week, we have to be trying to bore holes to remind ourselves of the joy and the beauty that still exists around us in Jamaica. It's hard though, but it's still there.
Yeah. So we should end on a hopeful note, Prof. So you can choose a song. Which song you want us to go out with?
You choose a song, Ricardo, because, do you know the song that come to my head a while ago?
What's that?
Life soon sort out. That's the first one.
All right, Books.
It has to be a dancehall song.
Books, well, life soon sort out, so we don't worry.
Books. So we don't worry. Yes, Books play that one because a positive note, and of course, thanking everyone because we really have to keep that positive energy, Ricardo, because we have hope, we have life, we are rebuilding after Melissa. People are building and trying, and those of us who are still recovering are holding on, and we're looking at our neighbors in the region. And we are doing the diplomatic dance and praying and hoping that we keep ourselves as safe as possible as we continue to look for our own development. It's very important.
A hopeful note to end Hopeful Friday. Dana Davey, hardworking. Thank you. Dana Davey, our producer. Andrew Bugs. Wait, no, I'm not going to say that part. Bugs, thank you. Thank you. My colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the business. Thank you all so much for making it Nationwide at 5 all throughout this week. Yeah, we've appreciated your company. All our callers, contributors, and you are valued listeners. Big up the YouTubers 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Professor Donald Hope. Have a great weekend. You know, life I go sort out. Enough love.
Good evening.
Gee whiz that, my life's so sad, so me no worry. My life's so happy, no matter where them talk about. No move grabby, no watch no bad mind, nobody. Mama tell me say, son, go all a mess. No make nobody take you out and pull up your head. Cause life's so sad, so me no worry. My life's so happy, get your youth just one brave the weather. Just go make it better. Do your thing, you hustling, be wise and get your act together. No do not over the cover, fit them get the better. Fi come lock you in a jail and make you suffer. No greedy, go and work for your little till your little done enough. Nobody be no gruff, believe me. Get your youth full of talent, so you know we must bust. Shall guide over us, our life's too sad, so me no worry. My life's so happy, no matter where them talk about. No move grabby, no watch no bad mind, nobody. Mama tell me say, we go all a mess. No make the boy take you and pull up your head. Cause life's so sad, so me no worry. My life's so happy. You might not drive a car now, but you soon can drive one. Yeah, you soon can buy one. You might never fly in a plane before, but you soon make a flight, man. Just go and trust the most I want. Mama teach me, we never give up.